right, folks, it's another Friday in the life of the world. In the Gregorian calendar, it's July the 27th, the last Friday in the month. I guess many offices have paid today. I may be wrong.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, I got mine yesterday.
Okay, good. So, good news coming from here.
You need to give me a bit of that.
Okay, then, let's go. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Today on the program, police grill Senate President Saraki inside the National Assembly over offer robbery. Insists he has case to answer. Kwara State Governor serves notice he would quit the APC just as Kwara PDP kicks against his and Saraki's return. And later on, hear this, United States tells federal governments to arrest, punish those behind herdsmen killings as Boko Haram attacks another army base in Maiduguri. Let's meet and greet my guest. The resident president is Babajide Kolade Otitojo. I greet you. Welcome.
I greet you too.
Oh, you are ready for a Friday. I like that. I see you.
I will tell these people what to do to me.
No,
every
it's all
Friday.
right. Okay, it's all right. And then we also have Ishmael Omikwidon. I greet you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, in criminology, investigators say when you eliminate the impossible in a matter, whatever is left, however improbable, must be the truth. A team of detectives from the Nigerian police on Thursday interrogated Senate President and number 3 man Dr. Bukola Saraki at his office in the National Assembly on account of the April 5 of a bank robbery. Whereas the Senate President reiterated that he had nothing to do with the ugly episode, the police personnel refuted reports that the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, had exonerated him, Dr. Saraki, of involvement in the robbery incident. For us at the Hangout, somewhere in between the two positions, eliminating the impossibles and sifting the improbables remains a perplexing issue. Jide.
Yeah. I think first and foremost, we need to clear the controversy over the DPP's advice. What the DPP said was, look, there's no nexus between the offense and the suspects.
Yeah.
In this case, the suspects are the Senate President and the Governor of Kwara State. So he asked them to do more work because he said that they should do more investigation to establish whether the robbery took place at the instance of the Senate President and the Governor of Kwara State.
Even that needs breaking down at the instance.
At the instance,
Yeah.
which means that perhaps he permitted it or he ordered the robbery. And he's saying that from the evidence on ground so far, the statements of those guys has not yielded that kind of information. None of those boys said, look, Saraki told us to
So
carry
his
out this
complicity
robbery.
in the crime cannot be established
At this
as we
point,
sit here.
at this point, it can't be established. That is what the DPP said, because the DPP, his own duty is to advise the police so that they can have a watertight case. So he cannot see how, based on the evidence on ground, you can actually nail down Bukola Saraki, and that is the point that he's making. He's not saying, look, don't prosecute, leave Saraki alone.
Yeah.
He's saying, do more investigation. Perhaps more investigation will actually establish whether Saraki knew anything about the robbery. That is not telling Nigeria.
Has it anything to do with, he has a case to answer, as the police is saying?
The police are insisting that he has a case to answer, that when he wrote his statement the last time, that he didn't clarify a few things,
yeah.
that the statement did not provide enough detail to some of the questions that they asked
Yes,
him, and
yeah.
that because of that, they needed to get him to come and talk to them again. And you know, the Senate president, when they visited the president that time, he actually complained about the withdrawal of some of his security men and the treatment that the police gave him. So the president gave a directive that if they needed to grill Saraki, that they, because of the respect attached to his office, that they shouldn't
necessarily ask him to
come to a police station. You know, this last one, they said they should come to Guzape police station. But the president had given a directive that the grilling should take place in his office. They should be the one to go and meet him. So Saraki reminded them of the directive that the president handed down at that time. And I think after that, it dawned on the police that they were going to make a mistake again. So they decided to go and meet Mohammed, since the mountain
cannot move.
Yes.
In this case.
Yes.
Ishmael, in my preamble, I talked about criminologists. They tell you, in a case like this, you eliminate the impossible, you commot them, and then you have something left, however improbable. The truth is somewhere there. That's the premise of Jide. What's yours?
Well, to start with, I think the police, whoever advised it to behave the way it behaved on Tuesday, probably did not do well. I say so because a man wrote a statement about a month ago or thereabout. Is it that it took the police a whole month to study the statement to know whether they were missing links? Now, if they were missing links, let us assume they were missing links. Why did you not wait for him to refuse to honor your invitation before laying siege to the house? And if you look at what also transpired in the deputy president of the Senate House, you will agree with me that it was more than an investigation, because the deputy Senate president had no prior invitation from either the EFCC or the police. The letter of the invitation was dated July 24th on that morning. They brought it that morning.
Yeah.
And the man said, okay, let me honor the invitation. They said, no, they will need clearance, that they have not given them clearance for him to come. The man answered, well, obviously you don't want me to go out. Now, having said that, without holding brief for Saraki, I doubt if it will be possible for the man to ask some persons to go and rob a bank. If it were to rob the banks that we have in the country, maybe we may say it's possible. But just, if you would
at that point, there must be an interest.
At that point, there must be an interest. So if we now remove that, then let us now find, where the truth is. And if I go by Mr. Babajide's submission, you have been advised to do further investigation. The further investigation should not zero on the suspect.
Yes.
The further investigation should not zero on the suspect, because it is the suspect who you want to nail. So the further investigation
the story will be consistent. The story won't change from what he told you the last time.
You understand? So I think you should have gone elsewhere to look for those further investigations and say, oh, now we have...
Ishmael, let me hold on to that and ask you, at this point, not speaking as a policeman, because I'm not.
But you are a son of a...
Oh, hold on, please. You don't go to court over that. Ishmael, does he know the suspects? Is there a link between him and the suspects?
Well, from what the police told us, the police said some of them were political talks to Saraki, and that in fact, one of the vehicles that were used for the operation was donated by the Kwara State governor. to, one of them. But again,
With customized number plates.
customized number plate. But you see, it's a different thing for me to give you a gift. What you do with it should not be my own, concern.
Except, Ishmael, this is an investigation. Jide, and so you hold on. Akinola, I hear, is here. Akinola, good evening, welcome.
Good evening.
Yeah.
I just want to chip in one thing. I want to correct the other man there. It has been established that the police did not actually went there to block him. It was an arranged blockage between him and his boss and the police guarding him. And yesterday, please, I wanted to chip in something yesterday before the program finishes. I want to know, please, you can correct me if I'm wrong, please. The defense minister came from Zamfara State. I might be wrong, I might be right.
You are
so I
right.
want to know if actually the man came from Zamfara State, the defense minister, and then all this killing is going on in his state. He said nothing. Thank you very much.
His local government is even one of the worst affected.
Which couldn't have been planned anyway.
No, it's just powerless to solve a problem.
Yeah. So yes, we talk about improbabilities and impossibilities. We're doing at the Hangout here, we're asking for the police to insist this man has a case to answer. And then you have these suspects on this, the robbers, and what they have said. You are looking at a thread, however tiny.
Yeah.
Are you seeing the thread?
I don't want to be overly confident that the police will get this job over the line. Remember when they talked about the link between Saraki and these guys, I said they better do a thorough job. Because if they don't do a thorough job, the blowback will be very, very embarrassing. The police, if they are sure that he has a case to answer, he better have a case to answer.
Establish it.
Yes, establish it. Let the whole world see clearly.
That's it.
Otherwise, what they are going to say is that you are persecuting him. Because...
Only he's already saying that.
No, yeah, people are saying that. Because the police have not come forward with cast iron evidence. The judiciary will not simply convict Bukola Saraki now.
For what?
They will convict him based on the evidence that you present before the judge. And we have seen clearly that these judges would want the evidence, the case to be watertight before they convict anyone. We saw the case of Oronsai. You saw, it was even, the judgment was that he had no case to answer. And that's a case that the FCC had been on for years. So, what we are saying is, you've been asked to go and investigate further. I think this is a good advice to the police. Do a thorough investigation. When you do a more thorough investigation and you find the right, the evidence to nail Bukola Saraki, many Nigerians will be happy because we are saying that our big men hardly go to jail. So if you can find the evidence to put him in jail, many people will be happy and they will praise the police. Yeah. So they should go ahead and do that as the DPP, because on the strength of what they have now, they can't convict this man.
No prima facie.
No prima facie case has been established.
Okay. All right. The debate must continue, but that's what we do here. We provoke the debate just so you have a go at it. But let me quote Bertrand Russell, one of England's great philosophers. He said, "Men are born ignorant and not stupid. They are made stupid by education." I'm trying to break that down. Now, still to come, Kwara State Governor serves notice he will quit APC, just as Kwara PDP kicks against their return. You want to stay with us. All right, the gale of defections in the ruling APC appears to be taking on a coat of many colors. Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed says he's on the cusp of a defection from the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. But our man has not told us where he's headed, yet the PDP in Kwara vows it's not ready to open doors for any defectee. In politics, Jide, the rule is when you leave the room, don't slam the door. You might want to come back in or look in.
Yes, it's quite common in Nigeria for people to go back, politicians to go back to their vomit. I had okay, they are talking to you. Huh?
Now, let's hear from Governor Ahmed Abdul Fattah himself.
You have come to tell us that you want us to move on to a new platform that will give us room to meet our aspirations for the good of Kwarans. By the grace of God Almighty, we will get a response very soon and very clear. But one thing is as clear as a crystal. You, the stakeholders, you have told us that we should move out of APC.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No different from what we said, yeah?
Yeah. In Nigeria, politicians going back to their vomit is common. Defection is common. When the APC national chairman, Adams Oshomole, said that when he was abusing those who had defected, what came to my mind was this man himself defected from Labour Party
yes.
to the then Action Congress.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you, Oshomole, defected, you didn't remain in the Labour Party. You defected. So why are you ridiculing defectees? It's the culture here. There are very few politicians who have remained in one party since 1999. I remember Sule Lamido. Sule Lamido has not left the PDP since 1999.
Yeah.
There are not many people like him.
Yeah.
As they keep chasing political progress, once the door slams shut against them here, they go to another party. I was saying it the other day that even as late as December 5, 2014, people like Otom, people like Atiku Bagudu, they were still in the PDP.
Yes.
It was after they lost the primaries that they crossed, you know. But in this case now, you know, when a big masquerade like Bukola Saraki, whether we like it or not, is strong politically. You can ridicule him all you want. He has never lost an election. So when a big masquerade like him comes, he's bringing six federal lawmakers, 6 House of Reps members. Yes. He's bringing them. He's bringing
3 senators.
Yes, he is a senator. He's bringing 2 senators. He's bringing the governor, because Megida, as the governor of Kwara is called, is his boy. He's bringing the governor.
You have not told me bringing him or them where?
He's bringing them into the, you know, there is outriders, as I said, they've left. Yeah. Those ones have left. It's only the governor that is coming with him now, you know. So we know that they will end up there. Now, if he's...
that means PDP.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's why those guys are worried. Because as he's bringing those people in, realizing that he has capacity, the PDP will give him the leverage to literally run the party, do what he likes. That is the tradition. Even when APC did that in Kano, the moment Kwankwaso joined, they took the structures of Shekarau and gave Kwankwaso as a sitting governor, you know. So Saraki will be accorded the treatment that you normally would give a sitting governor, because he is number 3 man and he's also bringing a sitting governor. So there's no way he won't go and take over the structures in the PDP. So those guys in Kwara PDP, so they're already worried, given the frosty relationship that had existed between the Saraki camp and their camp over the years. In fact, when Saraki was mentioned as and linked to this of a robbery, the PDP chairman in Kwara was one of the people who came out to say, look, this investigation has to be thorough, that nobody involved in this thing must escape, you know? So, and he talked about the fact, when they asked him, that, are you sure that this man is guilty? He said he has a history of using violence to win elections and all that. So, that is and at that time, he didn't know the man was coming. You understand? So, now, a man
was coming back home.
Back home. They are not prepared. They've had torrid times with these people. So they are not excited about the prospect of, because Bukola, when they talk about sharing formula, whether it is 60-40 or 51-49, as the party leadership has been touting, it varies from state to state.
Yeah.
The person who has 51 will eventually have 95. Abi Ismail?
Oh, yeah.
He will eventually take 95. They know.
The
All it takes is for him to come in. Once he comes in, he will take over everything. So those guys are worried.
Ismail, but there comes the trouble, because if they cross now, and you people are saying PDP, if they cross to the PDP, they're going to stagger a lot of things.
They won't stagger anything.
Okay, I'm interested.
You recall that in 2014, you know, the upper axis of Kwara State, they have always been AD, AC, and ACN. You know. So when APC was being consummated, the same way PDP people were shouting today, that was the same way the old APC people were saying, no, they don't want Saraki, they don't want Saraki. But come to think of it, you may not like the man, but as it is today, the man is the only person who has capacity to deliver Kwara to anybody he wants to.
In a free and fair election?
Well, whether it is free, whether it's not free.
You don't like that?
Election is election.
Okay.
Now.
In your country?
Now, it's coming
That's only a free and fair election.
Now, it's coming into PDP, where before now, the leaders of the party in the state always go cap in hand to beg for money, to look for money. That will no longer happen. And so the PDP national leadership will be happy to have a Saraki in Kwara.
The money back.
Because it's going to relieve them of a lot of burden.
Yes. After all, SARS is gone. Alimadu Sheriff is gone.
It's going to relieve them of a lot of, a lot of burden. And see, these people shouting, how many are they?
Oh.
I tell you, the day Saraki say, okay, we are back home, water will find its level.
So he will settle who he has to settle.
Water will find its level. Now, even if all of them don't agree, I know that those who will not agree at the end may be insignificant to undermine, whatever it is.
The party can even expel people because of that. Remember Mama Taraba's
There's even a case in court in Kwara PDP. There's a case in court. And I think as at the last case, those who are opposed to Akogun had upper hand. But I think they got an injunction, they got the court ruling asking Akogun to stop parading himself as the party chairman in the state. And invariably, I foresee the national leadership.
Akogun Iyola
Oyedepo, yes. Invariably, I foresee the national.
And that's the person who doesn't want to
see. So invariably, I foresee the national headquarters of the party siding with the Senator Suleiman Ajadi and co, who are willing to accommodate, Saraki in the PDP.
A quick jam question for you here. Who is the chairman, as we sit here, who is the chairman of the PDP in Kwara?
Well, Akogun claims that he is the chairman.
No, you have not answered.
It looks like the most dominant chairman.
Because he was the one who led the party to
So he will sober down in the scheme of things?
Yeah, whether he likes it or not.
He has to.
Whether he likes
that is the politics in this country.
Otherwise, he will leave the party.
Yeah, he has to choose between leaving the party or staying to swallow whatever he has said.
There's no way. If they have to make a choice between him and Saraki,
they will put Saraki ahead of him.
It won't be him.
He
doesn't have
not even the former Minister of National Planning, Professor Suleiman, can stop that. Abubakar Suleiman. Yes, he is a former minister. Yes, he's a staunch member of the party. But if you put him and Saraki, the party will choose the Saraki.
But I don't know if it works in politics, but you are told by the experts you don't fight too often with the same enemy.
These people, if you look at the politics of Kwara, Saraki and his dad, they began APP.
Yes.
Yeah.
APP. They began from APP. On the eve of the 1999 election, about maybe roughly 48 hours or so to the election,
They moved to PDP.
the older Saraki directed his people because he lost out in the presidential primaries
Okay.
in
Yeah.
Kaduna.
Yeah.
He directed his people to go and
PDP.
vote for PDP. Now, he got into, at that time, the APP had produced the governor. Remember, that's Mohamed Lawal.
Mohamed
That's
Lawal.
it, the Navy officer.
Yes.
Yeah.
He continued
Naval
to
officer.
quarrel. Invariably, that guy didn't get a second term. You know, the rest is history. But the truth is, even at that time, some of the elements who do not want Saraki now in PDP, they've always battled the family. You know, they've battled the family for years. He talks about some of them from Ofa, that area, the Gominas, some of the Gomina people. These are that is the tendency that Oyeyipo represents. So they've always had to contend against this man, and his coming to them is real bad news. It's like a nightmare, because they know that he does not he does not believe in half measures. When he comes into the PDP with the capacity that he knows that he has, with his capacity to even mobilize funds, he's going to completely take over the structures. He took over his dad's structures. When I told my boss, and I said, look, this man will defeat his dad. They said, what? I said, he has inherited his father's structures. As governor, he had the funds to oil the machine, the machinery, political machinery of his dad. And he continued to do that. And when that opportune moment came to actually test his popularity against his dad, he prevailed over his dad. Because as a sitting governor, he had resources, he had people. You know? Yeah. So this is the situation. There is no way. I pity them.
Sorry, Gerald has been provoked. He's in Abuja. I'm using the word provoke loosely now. Let's go. Gerald, welcome.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yep.
Thanks for having me, make my contribution. I just want to a single take on Saraki and the Nigerian police, the back and forth. Often, we get things mired in controversy in Nigeria that we don't focus on the main thing. And I think especially when, such an erudite house as yours, because you shape your opinion, you guide those of us who want to learn where to go. So I want to correct, almost a seeming opinion by one of your guests, not Babajide. Sorry, I just lost the name.
Ishmael.
When he says, Mr. Ismail, when he says that he doesn't think Saraki could have sent robbers to rob Ofa. Come on. It doesn't take rocket science for anybody to know that. It would be ridiculous on the face of it for anybody to be suggesting that Saraki sent boys to rob how much? He can buy off that entire bank if he wants.
Nobody had suggested that.
He didn't say that.
However,
you didn't say that.
Thing to
Gerald,
that
Ishmael never suggested that or said that. Please.
You didn't hear him well.
It pays to listen to us religiously, here, there's no politician here. We are, as they say, bloody journalists. Yeah. We have this table, we bring the matter to this table, thrash it out here. Yeah, Jide, as we.
So I'm saying that they know that Saraki does not believe in half measures.
He goes the whole hog.
Yes, he goes the whole hog. And he almost always gets his way.
Is there an element of muzzling here?
A lot of it. You see him outwardly looks like a gentleman, but you are dealing with a cold and tactical,
quiet storm.
Cold but tactical politician. Always planning. Always planning. You don't have to guess to know that he picked a lot from his dad. You know, I see a lot of the traits of his dad in him. And that's why anybody dealing with him politically, you have to be ready. Any man who can take all of 6 members out of the House of Reps to defect is strong politically. And one quality that he has that most people don't have is the ability to mobilize funds. I think if you ask some of the top people in the APC, they will tell you.
They will confess.
His ability to mobilize funds in an election year, you need that kind of person. So, coming to the PDP, these guys will be extremely happy that they have a big fish. They will sacrifice anyone so that Saraki can come into their party. It happened with Mama Taraba when Mama Taraba was coming into the PDP at that time. Some of the elements who fought her, they had to show them the door out of the party. So this is the situation. I sympathize with those guys who had held on and stopped the PDP from dying. Done their best to make PDP relevant. Because in the last local government election, PDP did very well in Kwara.
That is true.
Although the results
as usual
suggested the contrary. But they did very well. So those who held the party together, they must be in mourning now, mourning in inverted commas, because somebody has come to completely take over the party from them. And that's what will happen.
Yeah, Ishmael, the National Party, a chairman of the PDP, which is Secondus, says, yes, Saraki, well, in this case, the governor, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, is welcome with his team back home, so long as he does not tinker with the party structure. What do you understand that to mean?
Yeah, I think the chairman may just be playing politics because there was a statement from the national headquarters of the party on Tuesday explaining the sharing formula between those who are on ground and those coming in. And so I think the party had taken care of the fact that some persons will come and they have, iron out, the sharing.
But he is saying that meeting has not even held.
Yeah.
That's what the PDP chairman in Kwara is saying, that they have not sat down.
Yeah.
To agree.
To agree at the local level. But at the national level, they have sat down and have agreed.
So let me quickly take John, welcome him formally. John, welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, I greet you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Go on. Go on.
Yes, it's TVC. Keep talking.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, and to the gentlemen there, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We greet you.
Thank
Go
you.
on, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I base my contribution on 2 sayings. One is people say when 2 elephants fight. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
John, you are
keep
on
talking now.
time.
It is said that when 2 elephants fight, the grass suffer. And
John, and let me add this. John, let me add this for you. When the same 2 elephants are engaged in a love tango, it's the same grass.
Okay.
Go
now,
on.
my interest now is this, that the people there...
Time, sir. Time. Well, Ishmael. Yeah.
So I think whether we like it or not, the PDP will be happy, to receive these people. And it's just that sometimes we don't follow trend of events. As early as January this year, the governor of Kwara State had given hint that they may leave if the people want them to leave. In fact, as a matter of fact, I was part of the team of journalists who, interacted with him. We had both on and off the record. And on the record, he said it categorically that, look, for now, he has not seen reason to leave. But that if the people want them to leave APC, they will leave. That was in January 2018.
Even during the Congress, Bukola said the same thing.
You know, ask, say, which of these people, which people?
Oh, the
stakeholder,
members.
you know,
the
stakeholder, the
supporters.
people he addressed, because he said they will call a meeting and they will deliberate and agree. And if you listen to the news, I watched it on TVC last night. He said, why? Since you people have agreed that we should leave APC,
Mention the name of it.
They are stakeholders. You know, they are stakeholders.
Saraki met with them during the Congress, and the people clearly told him they wanted him to leave, you know. And he was saying, look, all those things that you people are hearing, forget it. That I'm not under any kind of pressure. I don't feel threatened in any way. And he now said some people are saying that they can win Kwara without us, that they don't need us to win Kwara. So he laughed. He laughed about that, and even his supporters today joined him in laughter. And he said, wherever it is what you people want us to do that we will do. Bukola said that. So, and immediately he finished addressing them, they began to sing one of those songs that they used to sing to his dad in those days. Like, Ibi Oba Lo, La Nlo, Bukola Oloye. Ibi Oba Lo, La Nlo, Saraki Oloye. Ibi Oba Lo, La Nlo. Wherever you go, we go. Bukola, the high chief, wherever you go is where we go. So it's, the decision had been made that they had to
my worry, our politics is still in the doldrums. Because of this big man syndrome. We talked about it the other day.
Well, unfortunately, we have it, but then, you see, politically speaking, in Nigeria, we no longer play politics of ideology. Our major problem now is political prostitution. But then, scholars have also argued that it does not in any way mean that we are not evolving, we are not developing. Elsewhere, you may not...
Even if awkwardly.
Yeah, elsewhere, you may not see the cross-carpeting, but we have seen Republicans support Democrat candidates. So also we have seen
and they
the Democrats, you know, they also defend, just that it's not...
their defection is not...
But
let's
look at it this way.
As seismic as the one...
Not as rampant as
let's look at it this way. This man, you know, I remember on the day Bukola emerged as the Senate president, June 2015, I made a post on my Facebook wall, and I was suggesting that, look, we have seen how Tambuwal emerged, and we saw how the attempt by the Jonathan administration to alienate them, embolden them to the extent that they were even challenging the government, that APC should learn from that these people have emerged, they should embrace them. Because if they don't, the moment they get the support of their colleagues, they will become emboldened to even challenge the government. But, you know, we don't learn from mistakes. Because if from the beginning, the party has shown reason to accommodate this man, I doubt if we ever think of leaving.
The truth is, the mistake or that ensured that Bukola Saraki won the Senate presidency should not even have happened in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
The party is to blame. Yeah. Because if the party had announced that, look, we have zoned this to so place, then it would not have happened. But Bukola Saraki had reached out even to his colleagues in the 7th House, in the 7th Senate.
Before the election.
A lot of
Before
them,
the general election,
he went to the Sultan, because after he won, he thanked the Sultan. The Sultan helped him to mobilize support. He moved around. And the former governor of Kano State, Kwankwaso, warned that, look, this is the time to let the people know what the party wants. At this stage, if you do not let the people know your preference, when it becomes too late and lawmakers have made up their minds, probably even taking money from the contestants, they will not listen to you.
Yes.
He told them that was what happened with Tambuwal. That by the time people had committed themselves to Tambuwal, it was difficult for them to now go and support Molika that the party wanted. So the party wasted time, vacillated, and the president at that time had the clout to be able to say, look,
this is what we want.
Something.
This is the person that I want. And they will have voted for him. But
they
wasted time. And Bukola, having garnered all that support, there was nothing the party could have done to stop him because he had greater support than the choice of the party in the final analysis.
All right, Wakilu, you are here in Lagos. We welcome you warmly. Welcome.
Okay, good. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Please, I would like to contribute to the program, please. About
Go on.
The section. The APC members, including Saraki, that defected, they've stopped being APC members since the day they did the election of Senate election. Both houses. No matter what the party did, Saraki went to the PDP to go and negotiate with them. He negotiated with the conditions. So what Mr. Ismail is saying is not correct. No matter what the APC as a party did to Saraki, Saraki is not listening because they already negotiated with the PDP because the PDP agreed to support him to become the Senate president. And in such a situation, there's nothing any party members or you, Mr. President, can do to Saraki because he has to fulfill his promise with the PDP.
No.
That helped him to become Senate president. You could remember in that National House of Assembly, there was an issue then. Dogara was trying to to go against the PDP. Some of the PDP members said they were going to vote Dogara in. And they were telling Dogara that, look, we are going to vote you in. So you cannot be going and then going against us. That is what is happening. Those people have stopped being APC members since the day they elected.
Yeah.
Let me quickly chip in something. In 1999, Obasanjo wanted Evans Ewerem. Atiku wanted Okadigbo as Senate president. When they could not agree, Obasanjo mobilized 80 senators in the Senate. And that was how he got their support with some PDP members to vote in Ewerem. In 2003, what happened? Almost the same scenario. In 2007, PDP said they wanted David Mark. When I mean PDP, that's the Obasanjo Group and Co. But the North Central met with Tony Anene and Co. and said they don't want David Mark. That was when they first prompted Akume. In fact, on the day of the inauguration, Akume was nominated, Gbemi was nominated, Nuhaliu was nominated. But eventually, Gbemi, Saraki, Nuhaliu,
we're taking it home now.
All stepped down for Akume. And the Mark eventually won with the support of opposition. So what happened in 2015 had always happened. The only difference was that the president did not show clearly where his preference was. Otherwise, there was nothing that happened in 2015 that had never happened. No single party ever on its own.
Let me also add, that the election of a Senate president is not a caucus election. It's an election of all, involving all members. Yeah. So you are free to go and campaign to the opposition. So saying that these people had always been in the PDP is a lie.
It's not correct.
Abdulaziz Muritala Yako left, he defected because of the crisis in the state.
Yeah.
And even the president said that a lot of these people
they don't
have issues with me.
That they have issues with
they have issues with their governors. So to say they've always been in the PDP is wrong.
It's not correct.
It's not correct.
Okay, all right, gentlemen. Okay, we can't quarrel over this. But
just to let Wakilu know that it was wrong.
But the debate must go on. You know the popular saying, one man's meat is another man's poison. In Nigeria, the politicians have recast it to read, there's a common meat and a common poison. All right then, the federal government of Nigeria has insisted that the subversive political elements are linked to the murders, bloodletting by killer herdsmen and Boko Haram elements in this country in recent times. The United States of America, through its Deputy Chief of Mission in Nigeria, David Young, is urging the central government in Nigeria not to allow the merchants of death get away with their crimes. Mr. Young called for a crackdown on deadly attacks that they have led collectively, on the deadly you know, to crack down on these merchants of death who collectively have killed over 1,000 people in many parts of the north. The Boko Haram insurgents have more than crossed the red line, Jide.
Yes, and I recall that on July 4, the House of Reps passed the resolution that all those involved in the killings in Plateau State, that government must find them and bring them to justice. They also said that they also demanded that the weapons, that there should be a forensic examination of weapons used in the conflict so that they can use that to actually trace where the weapons came from and the people involved.
Yeah.
So before Mr. Young made this demand, our own lawmakers had demanded that we should crack down on these killers. But what have we seen? We have not been able to crack down with sufficient measure on these killers. That's why the killings have continued in the northeast. In fact, Boko Haram appears now to be rejuvenated. We've always admitted that the immediate past theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Rogers Nicholas, had done excellently well. In fact, the governor of Borno State described him as the best theater commander, you know, ever. But the ambushes of our troops by Boko Haram, the one in Bama, where we were said to have lost many soldiers. And in fact, the theater commander admitted that 2 trucks, that they were trying to recover 2 trucks taken away by the enemy. That will tell you that we actually lost many soldiers. Then in the next day in Jili, in Yobe State, there was another attack on an army base where scores of soldiers were also killed. So now the army has managed it very well to the extent that they are just now informing relations of the dead. Look, this is what has happened. It's normal so that you don't, there won't be panic and all that. But the truth is, the enemy appears to have bounced back. Yesterday, in just about about 30 kilometers to 30 kilometers, 18 miles, Jakana, in near Maiduguri, 30 kilometers to Maiduguri. These guys came, Boko Haram came, sacked a police station, set ablaze the police station, attacked the army base. They actually overran the army base and held it for about an hour. It was after that the reinforcement came from Maiduguri before these enemies of the Nigerian people were dislodged from the military base. So an enemy that we felt that we had defeated, now suddenly attacking, taking the fight to the army, not relying so much on bombings as they always do, but going to army bases to attack army bases. Why are they doing that? They want to steal their weapons. They want to steal their weapons. They want to steal the army trucks. Because this last attack on Jakana, according to the spokesman of the police, they actually came with about 30 vehicles. So it's a big invasion. This enemy by now shouldn't be able to mount a military-style attack on our troops.
So the American envoy is mouthing with what we already had known. But again, mine is the government says it suspects unscrupulous politicians in the country, which is telling you, Ismail, that it's saying so from informed positions. Right, wrong?
Well, my take on that is you are ahead of decks. You have maybe a four-member team, and you know that one is not good. For you to say that you know that one is not good, it means that you know the person that is not good. So what are you waiting for to take the person out? For the government to come out to say so, it presupposes that it has probably intelligence report of those behind. So why don't you take on them? And I think that was the same thing Sule Lamido said yesterday in Bayelsa. That look, Buhari said he knows the killers.
Is it a question of timing?
Well, I wouldn't know, but you see, but the thing is this: if Nigeria, that has always been the story. Jonathan also said the same thing during Boko Haram.
They even accused Buhari of being
Jonathan also said the same thing. So I suspect that government is just playing the usual rhetorics.
But it's not. That is not the solution.
It's not the solution.
What do Nigerians want to see is defeat the enemy.
When I was watching this program yesterday, listening to Mr. Babajide's encounter with some of these IDPs, I was almost shedding tears. In fact, one of them said that, look, that the governor of their state, that is Zamfara, that, the man is not capable of doing anything for them, and that was why they left. And Zamfara is where the defense minister comes from. As a matter of fact, his own area is one of the areas that is worst hit. Yeah. When this crisis was going on in Benue State, the same defense minister told the whole world that it was a communal clash. After, he also said that it was because they passed anti-grazing law. Did they pass any anti-grazing law in Zamfara? Because he said it was anti-grazing law that was causing the crisis in Benue. Did they pass any anti-grazing law in Zamfara? So I think APC must wake up from its slumber because we are going into election. And they must tell Nigerians why it has been very difficult for them to protect our lives.
I'm wondering if I can go to sleep with that statement of yours because there's election. Take these people out because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
No, well,
election or not.
It's the right thing to do.
Because in an election year,
but in an election year, security is an issue.
Security is an issue.
It's
so
an
if
issue.
you've not done well in the area of security, because headsmen have killed far more people now than Boko Haram in the last 2 years. So you must tell the people what you are doing to solve the problem. Otherwise, you put them in panic mode.
In fact, I was discussing with somebody from Adamawa, and I was saying that is it possible that the exit of Nyako and Co can lead to Buhari's loss in Adamawa? And what he said, was like, look, that if Buhari loses in Adamawa, it is not because Nyako and Co left the APC, but it is because of what he has been able to do or he has not been able to do. That, for example, in the east from Noma, that it will be very difficult for somebody to come to the area and ask them to vote for Buhari when S-men are killing them every now and then. So that was why I mentioned that. So I cautiously use that word because you go back to these people to ask them for support.
I'm sorry.
Mine is. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you that whether election or not, it should be done. I agree with you.
In peacetime.
I understand. The point is clear. Whether election or not, our people deserve to live in peace.
But because they have not done it over the years,
it will be an issue. Certainly,
this is the time to do it.
Election, yeah.
And that was why Jonathan, for example, asked for 6 weeks to clear Boko Haram.
Yes, because he wanted to be able to say, look,
it's an issue.
I can protect you.
It's an issue.
All right, we are bearing this.
Now, the truth is, for me, looking for an excuse is not what I like to hear. Remember when we had scarcity in December? They were saying, oh, it's because of hoarding. Oh, it's because some people are sabotaging some people. In the end, what I insisted was the problem was what it turned out to be. Because Kachiku went to the Senate and admitted that they had supply issues. And here were Nigerians, gullible Nigerians, believing the lies of Mekanti Baru and other people that, oh, it was smuggling. Now, are they saying that smuggling and hoarding has stopped in Nigeria? Why is it that we have surplus petrol? So we don't need those lies.
I beg, no go there.
We don't need those lies.
Make the supply there as it is for now.
So the thing is, when we have problems, let us solve the problem. Let's not just be looking for excuses. All
right then.
Do not solve problems.
Okay. Let me thank Ishmael Obmikpidon for coming. Many thanks. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Spend the money, but send the bills to him.
To him, not you.
Okay,
to end up to
us.
When you send it to me, it ends up.
Babajide Kolade, many thanks for your time. That's it for today and the week. The program returns on Monday, and also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on your screen now, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TJHangout. TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel remains the same. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye for now. I need the weekend off.